What's up, cuckolds? This time I want to chat a little on the weekend recap, briefly on some of the games, some of the bets I made. I know I'm sharing my screen here. I'm going to show you guys what I did on FanDuel, DraftKings, and even in DFS. Overall, pretty good weekend. Um, as you can see now, I made some bets on FanDuel. I probably made more bets on FanDuel than I did on DraftKings, but I like to even it out a bit just because sometimes I can get a little better pricing from one or the other. I'm not saying that I sit there staring at numbers all day and trying to figure that shit out, but there are times where I get a much better number on one side than the other, and I take advantage of that. I hope you guys do the same with other sports books if you can. Again, you don't need to be anal about it, but you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. Number is the most important piece. Quick recap on the weekend. We were 7-3 with the picks. Let me see here. Picks were Chiefs first quarter, over 10.5. I gave out that one. Pops gave out Chiefs under 57.5 for the game. We both liked Dallas plus 7.5. That was a loser. Dak over 16.5 rush yards I gave out. That was a loser. Goff went way under 278.5 passing yards. That was a winner. Pats -4, easy winner. Philly +8, winner. That my dad gave out. I gave out Philly Saints under 51.5, winner. Philly third quarter +2.5, which I gave out, loser. Michael Thomas over 86.5 receiving yards, winner. Again, totals out to 7-3, plus about 3.5 units or so. Last week we went 9-3, so we're on a little bit of a 16-6 stretch here on the channel for NFL plays. It's really all been given out recently, anyway. So it's been a good stretch of games. Just want to briefly recap on some of the points that were mentioned by the trolls in the world last week. I was informed that the Colts-Chiefs game would be 50-50. Yikes. I was informed that the Patriots were no more, that Phillip Rivers was going to walk into Foxborough in January and not only cover the spread, but win the game handedly. Yeah, that game didn't really pan out how a lot of people thought. Well, except, this channel, of course. Philly Saints, I was informed to be a ton of points. I was told that the Saints over their team total would be a very plus EV bet or a sharp bet. Didn't even come close to it. I just, you'll see this. You'll see, analysts and all these fucking people go from week to week with these teams. It's crazy how there's people that make millions of dollars talking sports that truly don't even understand any of it. I think what we're going to give you on this channel is, real perspectives, the truth. What are some plus EV numbers? What are some good spots to find yourself in? Look, am I sitting here telling you you're going to win every game, every bet you make? Absolutely not. Listening to this channel, but I will tell you over time you'll be in the green. Me and my father certainly are. We have been. So I wanted this video just briefly to recap some of the bets I made from the weekend, give you a little bit of perspective into where I'm at. So as you can see, this was a live bet on Dallas, 8.5. Now again, I have other bets on DraftKings that I'll show you right after this. For me though, the first bets I made here were I live bet the Cowboys at 8.5. Loved that number. I know that they were losing at the time. Dallas plus 7.5 is one of my favorite bets of the weekend. I know I loved the Pats as well, but Dallas plus 7.5, those two were my big bets of the week. So when Dallas went down, I was live bet hammering them just because really thought that was a strong number. Then I got them at plus 13.5, as you can see. So 1,600 invested there, another 400 there to be at plus 14.5. So that paid out pretty well. Patriots -3 first half was an easy winner. Keenan Allen to score a touchdown. That was more of a hedge bet. That wasn't really a bet that I really enjoyed to make, but I needed to make that because for DFS purposes, I'll tell you guys briefly afterwards, but I decided to play Julian Edelman over him, which worked out very nicely. Julian Edelman had a huge game, but knowing that where my competition was and where I was sitting in the standings, wanted to hedge myself a bit with Keenan Allen, so I had him to score a touchdown, had him to go over his yards. He did go over his yards and score a touchdown. Don't want to sound like, pounding my chest. I wasn't all in for that bet. That was a hedge bet, in the event that he would have outscored Julian Edelman, which he did not anyway, so it ended up working out for all parties. The plus 8.5, which my dad gave out, easy winner there. Another 1,000 winner. Drew Brees over his passing yards, picked up 500 there, and I went Nick Foles over his passing yards, which wound up being a loser. And then there's that Philly Eagles third quarter spread, which I was able to get at 3.5 instead of 2.5, which was also a loser. But all in all, so 1, 2, lost a few bets here, 2 bets, but one. 2,100, 3,100, 4,100, 5,400, 66,000. I mean, he split that in half based on the winnings. Talking a few, probably won about 3,000 or so on FanDuel. So again, all in all, good game there. I mean, a good job there. I'm going to show you on DraftKings the same bets I made there. Let me pause the video real quick because I still can't figure out this shitty ass software. Real quick, I noticed that this was hiding some of the bets on me here. I did also bet Dallas plus 7.5, as I showed you. I did have a bet here on FanDuel on it. I know I have another bet on DraftKings on it as well, but I did bet the over 10.5 at dog money. 500 Colts under 57, as my dad gave you, winner. And then I did live bet the Colts second half at plus 16.5. Thought that was a good number. Got backdoored late there and that to fuck me, but ultimately just want to show you guys that I do win and lose bets. Not here winning every single bet, but let's now go over to DraftKings. All right, so here on DraftKings, be a little quicker with these, so not going too much into detail. There's that Dallas 7.5 bet. Told you guys made. I made a little PP money for it on FanDuel as well, so I had a decent chunk there. Calgary Flames, every once in a while, sprinkle an NHL game in. Find value where you can find value. As you can see, it was a winner. These two were free bets from DraftKings just because they were dickheads about nonsense withdrawals. So they gave me two free $250 bets. I parlayed these with the props that I had mentioned. You can't see them here, but one was Dak over, actually which was in both, and the other was Dontrell Inman over 40.5 yards. I did not give that out, but there are plays I bet that I don't give out. But Dontrell Inman did go over 40.5 yards, but Dak did not go over his rushing props, so both those parlays lost. I just used their two $250 free bets they gave me on that. There's that Goff under passing yards, which was a winner. Receptions over for Michael Gallup, 2.5. That was a great bet, all things considered, with the injuries there for the Cowboys. Again, I do make bets that I don't give out on these videos. I'm not looking to swarm you guys with a bunch of different bets to make. There's my single bet for Dak over his rushing prop, which was, of course, a loser. New England -4, bet for 1,000, winner. Receptions over 5.5, Keenan Allen. Again, this goes back to my hedge thing that I mentioned with Keenan Allen, just in case he had a huge day, which he did not, but he was able to make two of those props over for me. Philly -2.5, first half, which was a live bet. That was an easy winner. There's the Eagles third quarter, 3.5 more money there, which again was a loser. And then I have a little Cavaliers there for PP money. But all in all, pretty good week sports betting wise. I just want to be clear. As you see these bets, this is not a channel where we're going to sit here and give you guys bets to make, and we're here making $5 bets. I mean, my average bet is $750 to $1,000 a game. Not here being a piker with you guys, giving you bets out and then not betting them. We're hitting them hard. My dad bets obviously even more than I do, but we're definitely stock full of betting options. Now, also, just want to talk DFS. I obviously was in a bunch of contests this week. My tournament entries did not win, but all my cash entries did. All my tournament entries would have won had it not been for Michael Thomas's humongous game. Now, Michael Thomas had a humongous game, and you might be thinking, oh, you wanted to bet over his prop, 86.5 yards. Why wouldn't you have played him in Daily Fantasy Sports? Well, Daily Fantasy Sports is all about pricing, and it's all about finding value based on pricing. The variance part of Daily Fantasy Sports is the maximum effort or maximum score you'll get from certain players, where it's not expected. I'm not saying Michael Thomas, not saying I didn't think Michael Thomas wasn't going to have a good game, but I certainly didn't expect him to have the game he had. Jesus, a complete career game. But you'll see, all in all, I won all my 50-50s, which, so I lost a little bit of my tourney entries, which was maybe, call it $300-400 in tournament entries. But then I went ahead and won all my 50-50s. So, 500, 200, 100, 150, a bunch of 50s, bunch of 20s, bunch of 10s, bunch of dollars. I can go to the next page. More winners, more double ups, more $100, $50, $20. All in all, on DraftKings, I won about $1,400. Again, I would have won a lot more had Michael Thomas not had his humongous game. Let me just show you the lineup real quick that I went with. I know I gave out a video. I did tell you guys it was early in the week. I was subject to change that lineup for certain reasons, but I do run the same lineup. As you'll see here, the score 137 in every lineup. It's the exact same lineup I run everywhere. I'm a cash game guy. I play cash games. That's where always my head's at. Just to give you an idea of where the lineup was that I landed on, and then we'll call this video quits. Move my big ass head out of the way. So as you can see, I went Andrew Luck, Marlon Mack, T.Y. Hilton. The three of them really combined didn't do shit. They were really a value play for me based on the price. Really thought that was going to be a good game for them based on how cheap they were. Damian Williams had a huge game, but he was very high owned. I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting to be this high owned. I was definitely expecting to be in the 60% range, but either way, still had a good game. Julian Edelman had a huge game for me at 34% owned. This is why when I was talking about my hedging with making the Keenan Allen bets, Julian Edelman was the same price as Keenan Allen. I was afraid that at my point in the tournaments going into Sunday, that I felt like a lot of people might have gone more Keenan Allen than Julian Edelman. It was about the same actually, but the betting his live props or his props gave me a hedging strategy there, which was nice, and it worked out anyway because Julian Edelman went crushed Keenan Allen's numbers, and Keenan Allen still made me money on his props. T.Y. Hilton had a shitty game, but was bailed out with that late touchdown. Robert Woods kind of did what was expected of him. The 6 to 7 catches, 70 yards. Kelsey, had his type of game. Ginn, was more of a pump play for me at his price. Felt like he fit in the lineup very well. And the Patriots defense, was just you never pay up for defense, and they were fairly cost effective. So again, this placed me. Let me see where this placed me. 70th, and how many cash? I think 100. Well, there's 177, so 80 cash, so 70. I was in 70th, barely just made the cusp. But again, I would have been much higher had Michael Thomas not had the ridiculous career game he did. I was in the top. I was in the top 20% of everything before Michael Thomas actually absolutely went off in that game. And again, Ted Ginn did nothing for that matter. But all in all, great week in betting, great week in DFS. Just want to give you guys a little recap. I know I didn't give you guys a recap last week, even though it was another really good week for me. But I just want to make sure that you guys see that I'm not just out here giving you plays and not betting them. I'm out here. We bet every game we give out, and we hit them pretty hard. So definitely subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed looking at some of these things. Kudos to all you Chargers backers out there that were telling me how much Brady's washed up and how Brady's a blowhard and how Phillip Rivers, who was 0-7 now 0-8 against him, was going to go into Foxborough and win. Good job, guys. But I'll have you guys some videos on the breakdowns for the next few games. Should be a great NFL weekend coming up. Again, I'll give you guys a breakdown, and then I'll give you a separate video on the player props much later in the week. But all in all, subscribe to the channel. Hope you've enjoyed the vid so far. And again, thanks for watching.